Why did I tell them 1 week? You know it takes me 2 weeks to get my act together. They're gonna think I'm gonna play Fortnite. Why did I do this? I just need a nice, relaxing game. Oh, what's this? A game from the past? This should be fun. Okay, yeah, alright, we got a quote. Alright. I'm liking this so far, uh-huh. Huh? What, what's going on? Huh? What the hell? Walking Simulator has fundamentally too much walking in it. I'll explain to you why. But first, in protest to the fact that they have too much walking in it, I will be sitting down. The furthest thing from walking. Fun fact, it's very hard to see with, sunglasses and a not very well lit room. So, why does Walking Simulator have too much walking in it? Well, first, let me tell you what makes simulators fun. Simulators are fun is basically due to their accuracy. It has to be inaccurate in a certain way. Because it either has to be a very technical job that you just don't get to do a lot because you don't have that training or like the skills to do it. Which means it's not very accurate because if you had the skills to do it, you would just, be doing it. But instead you're playing it in video game form. You should be ashamed of yourself. Or it has to be so inaccurate, it's fun. Like Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Completely inaccurate and super fun. Same with things like Tab G. They just don't try to be accurate and they're so much fun for it. Whereas other things like Truck Simulator or Plane Simulators, they just start things that you don't really get to do a lot and they simplify it down because, you don't have the years of training that it takes to drive or fly a plane. Once again, you should be ashamed of yourself that you're playing these online. You should be doing them IRL. Please go hijack a plane and try and fly it. That was a joke. YouTube, please don't kill me. However, Walking Simulator fails because it's not any of those things. It's taking a very boring idea of, walking and just walking. It doesn't add anything to it. It doesn't make it goofy. It just is like, alright, so you're gonna walk. And then that was apparently their entire idea behind it. But if it would have been sillier, it would have been a lot of fun. Like, Act 3 of this game is super fun. It's a perfect S-pose. And it takes walking too. But makes it silly and fun. It's a bit of a goofy part, if you will. A bit of a goofy act. A goofact, as I like to call it. But it doesn't do that for the other two acts. Instead, it just takes the simulator part and is just like, simulators? No, we just walking. We just walking. Please stop walking. Please start running. Also, there's more running in this game than walking, so I don't know why it's called Walking Simulator. Anyways, another part of Walking Simulator, if you want to know what it's like taking Death Stranded and then taking all the fun parts of it and doing none of that. Just yeet into the abyss. And at the same time, I don't know if I'm insane or the game is insane. Because on one hand, this is a free Steam game that, is it supposed to have high quality? And it's clearly a joke from the very beginning, but on the other hand, it's a free Steam game that isn't fun, which is the worst thing you can be as a free Steam game. The worst thing you can be in anything is boring. I will take a movie that is interesting or so stupid that I love it. Two of my favorite movies are Mitchell and 1917. 1917 is a well-produced movie about World War I, and Mitchell is about police brutality. But in the 70s, so we're supposed to be like, yay! I'm not kidding, Mitchell straight up shoots a guy in this movie, and even the villains are like, yo, what's going on with this guy? And it's hilarious, and I love it, and it's beautiful.
That's sure some schedule he's got. Don't bother me, mister.
But there's also plenty of things that are just boring, and so it's just like, oh, okay. Wow, I sure wasted 2 hours today. And that's what the first two acts of this. They're just boring. They're not dumb enough to be fun, and they're not smart enough to be entertaining. It's just there. Not to mention, they're both buggy messes where you can constantly follow the world, the enemies spawn behind you, and it doesn't explain anything to you, which not only makes the game boring, but actively unenjoyable. Once again, except for Act 3. Act 3 is actually good. I like Act 3. None of this criticism applies to Act 3. So I don't know, because it's clearly a joke from the Steam store page, but at the same time, I've found games from the free Steam store page that I like that are dumb, like Crash and Run despite all of its brokenness and flaws. Video pending. It's still fun to play, if only for an hour at a time, but it still has entertainment value, whereas the first two of these acts is just like, yo, boot up Kitchen Nightmares on your freaking other monitor because you will be walking for 2 hours. Act 1 puts you into basically what is Antarctica. I don't know why I said basically it's Antarctica. It puts you into Antarctica. And basically you're tasked with a few missions to transport some stuff like Death Stranded, and basically you gotta walk there. Actually, you're gonna run there because it's faster, so it should have been called Running Simulator 2020 instead of Walking Simulator 2020, and I'm suing for false advertisement. So, first of all, we come to our first main problem with the first one. It's in Antarctica, which means it doesn't have a very exciting landscape. And frankly, this was just a curse of where they chose to put it. You can't really make Antarctica interesting. It's just kind of like, it's snow and like rock. Yeah, it's not very interesting. So I don't really fault them for that. I can fault them for choosing Antarctica, but honestly, I kind of like the buildings they made for it, even though I'm pretty sure they're free Unity assets. Anyways, so while you're tasked with running these things around, you can buy basically 3 major things: jetpack, speed, and motorcycle? No, snowmobile. There we go. Now, does the game ever explain this to you? Actually, surprisingly, yeah, kind of. I thought it didn't, but then replaying it, I realized that it kind of does in this main area. Except it'll never explicitly say anything to you, so it's just kind of confusing and it doesn't actually describe it. So, the speed juice is actually pretty good. It makes it go fast for about 15 seconds, and you know, it's pretty fun. I like it. The jetpack is stupid and I hate it. Now, while you might be saying, jetpacks, they're fun. You love jetpacks, AK? Yeah, but this one only goes up. It doesn't give you any forward momentum, which basically means it's like, well, you can go into the sky and then fall through the floor on the way back down. That's not a joke. For whatever reason, if you fall from a high enough position at just the right angle, you will just fall through the map. How does that happen? Who knows, but it happens. The snowmobile is genuinely fun to ride on, but the game doesn't tell you that picking up these briefcase will contribute to your score at the end, and if you don't take the exact path they want you to, you won't even see them for like most of your trip. So I didn't get it until like my second playthrough, at which point I was like, oh, that's kind of boring. Wish you would have told me about that earlier, because that would have been nice to use. There are enemies on the first one, however, and that's the only improvement that one has over the other 2 acts, is that there are enemies. There's these hazmat guys who exclusively spawn behind you and guard the likes. By the way, that's what the briefcases are called. They're called likes. Why? I don't know. I'm just as confused as you are. But these guys will apparently only spawn behind you and have such broken AI that they only have 3 states of being. 1, no movement. 2, random movement, and 3, following you halfway across the map because they don't lose aggro. And also the hardest part about these guys is trying to get them to hit you because they are very bad at it. Like, I'm not kidding. The only time I ever got hit by them was when I was purposely trying to get hit by them because it's kind of funny to watch a character fall over, so that was the most entertainment I got out of that act. On to act number 2, an improvement over act 1, but still pretty bad. Act number 2 doesn't suffer from being Antarctica. It's in Alaska, which means that it's actually nice to look at, except for this river. Oh my gosh, that's not how rivers work. You also get slightly better objectives. You basically get to run around transporting a dog. That's the main part of the quest. However, the dog isn't as fast as you, which means it just teleports to you, and it just seems to randomly teleport to you at random times, which means you won't see it for most of your trip, because companion, that wouldn't make the game much more fun. But it would, actually having a companion and maybe someone that you had to guard and look after, which would make this game a lot more fun, but it doesn't do that. Instead, the dog just teleports to you and is very slow. It also looks like it should be a horror game, but isn't. Like, it would look so much like a horror game that I thought I was seeing things in the woods where there wasn't any. It could have been a good, like, horror indie game, but it's not, because we're just walking. That's all that's on the agenda for today.
Hey everyone, Editing AK here. I just wanted to point out this glitch that I had during Act 2 where the like sound where you showed that you got more points just would not go away, and I had to deal with it while I was playing through the entire act.
Act 3 is the one actual good act. It's very good. It takes place at a supermarket and you're supposed to gather toilet paper. That sounds stupid, but I swear it's actually fun. You can knock people over, knock wet floor signs over, push carts around, and knock yourself over. Honestly, great time. You know, you can drive a truck around, you can go find the dancing coffin meme because it's Walking Simulator 2020. But yeah, that part's actually fun. It's a great example of what this game could have been, but they just didn't do it for the other two. It's short, it's simple, and it's just good old fun. You just get to wander around and have fun with the physics it gives you. But the other two acts don't do that, so in the future Walking Simulator, please make the rest of your acts more like Act 3 and less like Act 1. And with that, that's all I got. Do I recommend this game? Not really, but if you want to play it, just play the third act. The first two are not worth it. I swear, they are not worth it. And with that, I bid you adieu. I will see you next time where we delve back into, oh my gosh, why is Crash and Run so bad?